technical difficulties is always part of the process.
The day we've been finally waiting for is here, and we present to you Chix Confidence. And my name is Uniris Estevez.
Nora Zascona.
Sally Almonte.
Melissa Martinez.
You'll soon be seeing Mickey Fernandez. Unfortunately, she was not able to
We
join
saved her
us
seat
today.
right here.
Yes, but her seat is here. And guys, I would like to start off by sharing with you our vision and goal for this real talk, real women on a real table.
Mm-hmm.
What we are is women who have come together for one same goal, which is in search of wellness in all sense of the word. So we're looking for to become better in our relationships with our spouses, with our friends, with our family members, as well as being able to hack into our emotional state. Because a lot of us find that facing the day-to-day lives, we have to really hack into those things that help us stay focused and be mindful, and hack into those things that are really trying to detour us from what we should be really focused on. So we want to bring to you our real conversations, our friendship, and sometimes I'll be facing this way, and it's not because I don't, it's us, and we're going to be having a conversation, because at the end of the day, we want you to see what really happens in our conversations, where we have critical moments and where we are able to break apart and truly come to the confidence level that we can project to others and help other women do the same. So let's start by beginning with, all right, so we have this whole idea of real women, real talk, right? And obviously we come to a place where we've all had to battle at some point, at some place. And there's one thing that keeps us going and keeps us focused. And I find that that has to be our, definition of power.
Absolutely.
What is it that defines you? What is it that makes you who you are? So that others get to know what is it that we're going to be bringing to this table.
Who are you starting with?
So let me start.
We're all
Yeah. Norris and I are twins. Norris and I are sisters.
Yes.
Salvi is she's not the oldest. But
Okay.
she's
Okay.
We're gonna age us and you're putting
Now we
age.
started a whole other conversation. We're all
I'm missing you, Mickey.
Listen, it doesn't matter what age we are.
So why don't you start? Because tú eres la que más habla.
Óyela. This is going to be a very interesting live show every week, guys. Super excited to be here. Thank you for tuning in on our first show. We're going to be sharing our hashtag, so you can please share it. But I mean, basically, we were having this show has really no topic. We just really wanted to share with you guys a little bit about who we are and how do we step into our power. And we can go on and on this topic. It could be a series of shows. But most importantly for me, I was telling the girls, one of the biggest breakthroughs I've had in my career has been the moment I realized that the one thing that made me step into my power was the things that I was always criticized for. As a kid, I was always reprimanded for doing things that, going against the grain, and for having a voice and speaking out and noticing when something wasn't right. And that actually has been such a blessing and such a gift, because I feel like I've been I don't fear doing the things that, we have to do to be successful.
And that's why you're so bold now.
I'm very bold. I'm very
You're fearless.
I'm very.
So what would that word be for you? What's that word that has kept you focused and that you've discovered is your reason for doing what you do on a daily basis?
I'm a rebel.
Totally.
I'm a rebel.
I would never have known.
Yeah,
that.
we would have known.
And people and honestly, people think that rebels are badasses and that we're fearless. But what we do is that we fear less every day, because I'm bold enough to step into my power on a daily basis, fearing less. It's not that I'm better than anybody. It's basically that and my mom always used to tell me when I was little, tú te tiras de cabeza aunque te lleve quien te trajo. And that for so many years was the thing that I was I felt like I was a bad kid growing up, and it stopped me from doing all the things that I now do as an adult. And so that has been huge for me on, doing all the hard things that we have to do on a daily as women, as moms, as wives, as a friend. You know, even this friendship, like people think we're, you know, it's a gift. No, it's all of our power. Like we take our power and we put it together, our strengths, and that's what you're gonna hear about today with us.
And how about you, Norris? What has been your power? Like, what has been that place of you that has brought you to this place where you are right now in your life?
I think I've always been in a self-discovery journey. I think that being the youngest of three, I did, God blessed me with maturity and with realness. I am as real as it gets, and that got me in trouble. So as Saudi, she was a rebel, she was very outspoken, she always went against, you know, the common ground or what her parents wanted for her. I was the one that I was always very outspoken. What I saw, I would say. I wouldn't sugarcoat it. And I think that the realness and the bluntness in me has allowed me also to bring that upon my life on a daily. I don't like sugarcoating. I don't like
And that's a blessing for all
It
of us.
really
because,
is.
like,
Yeah, you
she
keep it
tells
really
us.
real. Like
And
that is why we're on the real.
tells
this
us,
is
like,
real
what are you
talk,
wearing?
and for me, this is not fake. It's
Yeah.
living my life
Yeah.
the way that I believe is true to me, to my values, my morals. I've had a lot of breakthroughs in my journey, but as a kid, I was always that person, and my mom actually named me the owl, la lechuza, and I always was very curious on that. I'm like, why am I a
Because
lechuza?
a lechuza is an ugly being, like an
Like,
ugly animal.
If you notice, the owl is not very pretty, and I'm like, but mommy, why? And now that I've grown up, I've had conversations with her and with you and with the ladies, and it's just that my vision is very clear, and I also see things for what they are, even when they're not pretty.
You're so honest.
And I embrace
like
it.
brutally honest. Like
Brutally.
whether
It can get me in trouble,
But it's
but
good.
it doesn't come from a bad place.
I know.
At all.
I know. Like
I appreciate you.
I just
I
too.
love
Like
it.
one day you walked into my house, and it was a time where, you know, I was getting very comfortable with my weight a couple years ago, and I was wearing tights a lot. And she's like, you know, Saudi, when was the last time you wore your jeans? I was like, oh, this chick is not calling me out. And you know what? That same day, I whipped out my jeans and I owned it. And I was like, time to freaking
tighten up
Yeah.
the reins.
And
Yeah.
so there's beauty in that, in owning your brilliance, even with the mess, the chaos, the blurriness of things when they come your way, and you're like, whoa, you always need to own your truth.
I love that. You want to know why? Because I always had, I grew up never having real friends. So I would end up at a club, como una loca. I'm like, what the fuck are you wearing?
Don't let me go out like that.
So
I'm not that friend.
Uh-uh.
And if I tell you,
Please
no,
know that.
And my sister, you
I'm
know,
blessed to have
she's so
a
friend
friend, a sister that with my fashion, you know.
Yeah.
What would I call you? Like my
She's your stylist.
She's
honey.
my stylist.
She's our stylist.
Thought of it.
Listen, we're blessed. We have the stylist, we have the planner, we have the
But let
teacher.
me ask Melissa, because usually Melissa's very good behind the scenes and you'll know something, and that's who we are. And like,
Yeah.
I want you to see what our strengths and weaknesses are, and maybe you can confirm and like see yourself in us, and then see yourself how you can help other people. And while you're at that, you can also drop any questions in the comment section below that you have for us.
Please.
Because we are a community of support, and we recognize that what we have is unique, and we would like to share our piece with you. So feel free, because I'm the timekeeper, and 5 minutes
That's
before
your
this
strength.
session,
That's your strength.
5 minutes before this is over, we will be answering questions.
We also want future topic ideas, you know?
Yeah.
We're coming to you every single Tuesday between 11:30 and 12, and so we want to make sure that we have, you know, content.
So Melissa, what would you say is your power word? What has been your focus?
I have to say that when asked that question, I struggle. I really, really struggle, because I just feel like I've had a hard time just knowing, putting into words who Melissa is, only because I guess I spend a lot of time like trying.
You're a compass. You're a GPS. You like keep
that's
us
what you are to
centered.
me. Like,
you are our
Yeah.
resource. She's our
She's
411. Like,
Yes.
give us.
I hate owning that question, because I think it's not humble to say
but can we?
that you're the one that tries to do, you know what I mean? Like tries to do and find.
We keep
But
it
let me ask you
together.
this: you're okay with being the compass to everybody else, but what are you to you?
I struggle with that. You're trying to make me cry.
No,
We just got real, guys.
I just think that you have such a big heart.
Yep.
And you're always there for other people. And I could actually cry because I have seen you give of yourself in a very deep, vulnerable,
Even when she's
humble,
at her
lowest,
worst, she would wake up, stand up,
for everyone
and
else.
yes. So
and for
where
you
do
to
you
have a difficulty saying, you know, what you come up, what your power word is for you, that symbolizes that you've given so much to others that you forgot to give to yourself.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I honestly don't, this is not something that I love talking about. She's forever arguing with me and telling me like, own it. You have to learn how to accept. To me, it feels like talking about something like this is, it's almost like bragging and and this is not something, I'm a believer that when you do something from your heart, you don't have to go around talking about it.
And I think, and there's some truth in that too.
But I think kindness is a beautiful trait to have, and that we're missing in today's world. Like, we need more of you, but I also feel that in the same token, we have to be okay with putting ourselves number one on the priority list, so you're never running on empty.
And that's something I'm learning from you guys that I love, like, just through this journey, through this friendship, like, when I fall, behind or start thinking to myself, I'm not worthy enough, I'm not good, whatever disgusting thoughts happen in my head, like, I love that I can come to this circle and you guys talk me, like, you snap me out of it right away.
But I think that's what friendship is all about. You need to lean in.
I never had that though, I'm sorry to tell you.
I know
I
it's
have
hard.
to be honest with you. I
know
have
it's hard.
friends, I have best friends, but in terms of like this,
it's hard for people. So I can relate to you because I'm on, we're both high school dropouts, and so when you don't have that little clique from high school, it's easy to just kind of like go through life thinking you don't need friends, and you also have a lot of family who are kind of like your friends, and they're there for you, so you kind of like grow up not thinking you need. So I always had my brother, and I thought that that's all I needed, and until I met you girls, like, I feel like I can take over the world, like I can give so much more, because now all the things that I wasn't great at, we all kind of like fill those things that hold us back, those voids. What I'm not good at, what is not my strength, I can find that strength in my friends, and I can lean in, and together we make one badass, woman. And so, like, if you're out there and you can connect to anything that we're saying, don't ever think that what you do for others it's not bragging at all. Like, think about it. You being like, and when we say the compass, guys, she's like, there's nothing that doesn't get done.
She's our Google.
Yeah, like Google GPS. She's a GPS. Like, I don't use GPS when I'm with her in the car. I don't do any events or planning without her. Like, she knows. I mean, and of course, it's because of your background. We're blessed that you have an incredible background in your field that you were in for so many years, in event planning and all that stuff, and coordinating, and like, the ins, ends, and outs that people pay so much money for. And that's why, like, we were like, we need to put this out there to the world. People need to know what we do behind the scenes and who we are to each other.
And if you notice, we're all using our strengths.
Yes.
So, like, as a teacher, I can bring in my timekeeping, I can bring in, my structure, because that's who I am. And I thought you'd never ask, but let me tell you.
Tell them all about it.
Let me tell you.
So what about it?
What about me? So let me tell you that my way, like my focus and my word, my power word is, I feel like I'm the calm in the middle of a storm.
she totally is.
I could be, aunque me lleve quien me trajo, like inside of me, I could be very anxious and nervous and overwhelmed, but I won't let that out. I'll try to remain as calm as possible during the storm, even if I would break down in my own quiet space. I've learned to be disciplined and to fight for what I truly believe. And it has taken me to like unfold who I thought I was to then become who I've always wanted to be. So I've only done that because I've been surrounded by rebels, by people who are giving so much of themselves, and by people who have been able to like not sugarcoat through things. Like sometimes you need that.
You need to peel the onion, and
Oh my
you
God,
need
yes.
to be aware of your life. And I think that while we're chatting, I think it's important, if you want, also to name your power and share it with us. I think that it's a
Like,
beautiful
what is
thing.
your gift? And you know, it's crazy how we weren't even like, we didn't have time like to plan this or whatever. But when we were trying to come up with a way to explain to you guys where our power word comes from, I gave an example that you guys looked at me like I had 6 heads. But I said, it's usually the thing you were reprimanded for as a kid.
It's so
And
true.
that is so powerful. Like, not most people won't go there. It's when I look at the things that I got reprimanded for, those are my strengths. And that's why, you know, so many people
So
live
you
in
got
the
in
matrix
trouble as a kid for being a rebel.
all the time and for saying the truth. I mean, growing up in a Latino family, like, your parents, like, you know, when my mom, oh my God, if she's watching this, she's gonna kick my ass. Like, when she couldn't pay for my Catholic school, that had no business going to Catholic school, you know, we lived in a 1-bedroom apartment, you know, on public assistance. Like, why did I need to go to Catholic school? Because of society, because of
The
who
status
the
quo.
status quo, because of her last name. You know, her daughter had to go to a Catholic school. Mind you, it was more embarrassing to not, you know, to be the kid that the payment was always late, where the principal singled me out every single time the payment wasn't there. And so that's the kind of shit I got really whipped for, really got in trouble for, but it's also how I do business today. You know, I have no fear telling you the truth, where you, in the other hand,
I think it affected me with relationships, because then I had to be kind of like, I was an isolated person
You
because
were
of
the
it.
oddball out.
I was the
because you were
oddball.
too
I was
didn't
pretty
go-
much stuck in a kid's body with an adult mindset.
you didn't go with the flow. You had your
I
own
did
voice.
not go with the flow. I didn't believe in peer pressure. I was always very in my own lane, and I think that being in my own lane is a beautiful thing, but it also can be very lonely. And then I just became an introvert in my own way, and I had to become aware of my own identity, not focusing on what Norris was or what my brother was, just focusing on who Norris really is, who Norris was created to be. And I find that we have so much purpose inside of us, and here we're talking about our strengths, but in real life, all we focus on is our weaknesses.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that once we make that shift, it becomes so beautiful, and that's why we become so powerful. It's not that we're better or bigger than anyone. No, it's just an understanding of, yes, we are a work in progress, forever a work in progress. We are not perfect by any means, but I think that what we've been able to do in this journey once we met each other was embrace our own brilliance, understand that we're human, that we're women, that come with a past, because we all have a past, we all have our own story to share. And I think that's where we were
It's
able
just
to
embracing
walk
in
in
our confidence,
Yeah.
and not like, sometimes there will be days where we'll bow our heads down and be ashamed, but immediately once you remember where you are and who you are and what brought you to this place, automatically like there's a pep to your step. And
it connects us, though.
and it
I feel like
connects who we
us.
are.
Yeah, and it was very powerful because this past Mother's Day last year, you know, it's already last year, we were all together, and it was very powerful because you brought your mom.
We brought our moms.
Yes,
She's my
your
mama
She
too.
invited us. Her mom was there. She brought her mom. I came with my little family, and there was an observation. I admire Unides' parents and Melitza's parents like greatly, and the observation that Unides' mom and Norris's mom had was very powerful, and it taught me a lesson. And so when you said, you know, a lot of times, you know, our past, you know, you bow your head down and you feel ashamed, but at the end of the day, that's what really connects us. When we really dig deep into who we really are and where we come from, we all have a huge connection.
We do.
And I think that, you know, the fact that we're Latinas is powerful. And the one big thing is that family is everything for us. And that is how we build this community and this sisterhood.
Yep. And I think it shines through. And I'm gonna just interject real quick. What has been like, when you think about coming back from your childhood, like what has been one of the things you were reprimanded for the most?
You know what? I honestly, when we talked about, you know, we're trying to figure out our power word and all that stuff, I wasn't because my mother was always so busy working, she didn't have a 9 to 5. She had a 4 in the morning to 7 at night. I was that child that was given everything. I was in Catholic school, but when my mother would pay months in advance, and I didn't want that. Like, to me, I was like, take me out of this freaking. I thought that what held my mother at a job, at her business, was the fact that she needed to pay, you know what I mean? And what I wanted, what I craved was time. So for your mother to come and say something like this, like, oh, my mother saw the same exact thing. My mother knows, since I've been in a relationship with my husband, I thrive very much on going out with couples. I've always felt like when you go out with couples, you have a bigger chance of staying together, of connection. You just have more fun together.
Powerful.
I love Diego to death. I don't really want to be on vacation with Diego alone. I want to be with my girls. It's the truth. Like,
well, but because
you know
of what you created, and that's you. It's important to see that the connection. Like, all our husbands get along. That's powerful. Like, that's huge,
But
and
it's
that's
because
why
we
you
have
crave
the
it.
same values
Yes.
intertwined.
Yes.
So we put family first, and when we're together, and that's something that I appreciate from you guys, and I'll say that now because
I don't think we'll be here.
no,
Yeah.
there have been
You just
moments.
can't make it happen. You
Yeah.
can't fake that.
There's been moments where I've had to drop the ball, and I've been responsible for showing up and doing certain things, but I've had to drop the ball because my family needs me.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with saying to you, girls, I can't do this today because I have this family emergency. And we will always say, remember, family first. Always family first. And we are who we are today.
As a matter of fact, we couldn't launch this show for a couple of weeks now because it was always a family thing. And we were like, it's all good.
And that has been one of the reasons where I've been able, like, I wasn't much of a rebel growing up. I didn't get into a lot of trouble. But it wasn't because I didn't do anything mischievous. Like, I was.
So you never found out, huh?
You never got caught.
I never got caught.
She was too freaking slick because she's a plannerly organizer. She did her shit right.
I also had other guy, like my brother was
It's
ahead
so
of the
funny.
game.
Now they tell the stories, and my mom is like,
Where was
Yeah,
I?
yeah. You guys had it down packed
So-
to the science.
But
and I
that
would be in the room like, oh, these guys.
but that also shows the side of me that is the persistence. You know, that I'll do things until I figure it out, and I'll just keep going and going and going until something happens. And I think at the end of the day, when you're trying to live in this world, that's one of the things that either you have to polish or discover in yourself. What is it that helped you in the past push forward? Because that's the same thing that's going to help you today when you feel like you're in a moment where you're stuck. And I'll be honest with you, like 2019 came in, and I came in with a different idea. Like, I don't want to just get by. And when 2020 comes, look and say, well, there was some improvement.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be that.
Nope.
I want more. And I want to elevate myself. And I know that that's going to require a different form of persistence. So how do you feel about welcoming 2020 into your life? Because now 2019 is what, 3 weeks in?
Listen, I am so freaking hungry. It ain't even funny.
You're hungry for food?
No.
I was gonna say,
I am hungry
Yeah,
for
bar.
more. Let me tell you something.
Yeah, we can
If
go bar.
every single day you wake up with that drive, that hungriness for more, like you're not gonna just sit around and watch Netflix and watch all these little shows and walk around, you know, with this foggy mentality. Like, my mindset right now, and I'm driving my team freaking insane with the whole saying is, it's not over until we win. As friends, as a team, as everything that we are to each other, because for those that don't know and are tuning in, we're also business partners. We're not just friends, and that's a blessing. Like, I don't know, you know, like, I never imagined having friends that I can have a business with. Usually that doesn't happen.
But it's because we're in a business of empowerment,
Exactly.
of betterment,
Of course.
of improvement,
Of community.
Of self-reflection.
Yes.
Of sharing.
Because it's impossible to persist and remain in
Yes.
this type of world in business
Mm-hmm.
if we're never truly being truthful, if we're not being
Absolutely.
reflecting and peeling back the layers and figuring out who we are and why we're here, and if we're not figuring out what is it that we need to be hungry for.
And you know what? That is a huge one. Because a lot of times, people think that, like, my why and my reason for being so hungry and for wanting to win grows every day so much more. And one of the biggest things that I could tell you, straight out the gate, like the biggest tip, like write this down. Don't go to bed feeling empty, okay? And when I say that, I mean, like, it goes back to that childhood book about filling your bucket. Like, that is the one book I read to my kid, and it will always be my compass. You're my compass, my GPS. But where am I going today? But like, no, all jokes aside, like, there's always a little more that you can do before you go to bed. Whether it's sending that friend a message, whether it's, texting somebody you love. Like, it doesn't always have to be about business. No. But that one little thing, that one extra little thing that you do at the end of the night can change how you wake up the next day.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of it comes from not being in a competitive state.
Exactly. I like that word.
In comparison to you girls, I went to high school and I could count on this hand the number of friends I had. I was dying for high school to be over.
That makes me feel better because I always felt like I was missing out.
I didn't want to live up to being in a clique. I hated cliques. I hated being part of, like, dressing up with a brand name because I had to fit into whatever. I wanted to get to college because in my mind, when I went to college, I was going to be free from being who they wanted me to be. And I was for once going to be who I wanted to be. And when I came into this community and to this sisterhood, I found that I was allowed to be who I am, but always pushed and inspired to get better without feeling like I have to change who I am to fit in.
I like that.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of people think, like, oh, and this is big. Like, when I work with women, it's like, oh, I'm so embarrassed. I don't know. I have to work on myself before I show face. No.
Oh my God, no.
How about you come as you are?
When we were planning, like, what we were going to talk about, I'm like, guys, I just realized that this talk show is going to do more for us than
what it is going to do for
others. Oh my God,
others.
it's so freaking true.
Because how about you come as you are and then work your way in and up above from that place?
Again, because we need to make a shift from our weaknesses and own our strengths with everything.
And you need to be a rebel because you throw yourself head first.
You have to be all in. But I think you have to be all in order to do that. And I think that we dabble too much on our commitments. Because we're giving too much to others. We get involved with life. Life knocks us out and we have no idea where to, rise up. But that's where the sisterhood comes along and reminder, you got a life to live.
And that's why so many people are so inconsistent and they're all over the place and they're getting into this thing and that thing. And honestly, like, just stay planted where you are and go hard, go in, whatever you're part of right now. Whatever you're passionate about right now, give it your all. You give it your all and you're going to see the shift in you. Because that's the thing. A lot of people, they want to give their all to things thinking that it's going to make them rich from one night to the other. And there's so much more that has to happen within you as a person in order for you to, get the fruit of the labor. The labor is you. You're the work.
Well, in order for you to get to your goal or the dream that you want to, you need to kind of graduate from that.
That is your college degree. Basically.
And every new level is going to require a new level of you.
Oh, yeah.
So you're going to have to pretty much close those chapters behind you and embrace the new with the challenges that comes along with. And I think that that's where the friction comes along. And when you're doing it alone, it's lonely and you just go back to where it's comfortable. I find that this journey, more than anything, it's only pushed me to embrace who I am, own it, and be okay with it. But I've had these ladies to push me on days that I don't want to. Yeah. And I think that that's the difference. You can't do life alone. I think that human beings, we were made to be in community. I don't know if I have a sociology background, but I am certain of that.
And you also have to be willing to tell people what you feel. A lot of times, like, we were having a conversation before coming on live, and I told Norris, I said, yo, you're stuck with us. We're always gonna be here to put, like, I did an example.
I have my moments.
We did an example, and not, and that's just not even like with anything in general, just in life, like, because we see her, like, when I close my eyes and I think of you, I see you as a motivational speaker, a person of influence, a person who, steps into a room and brings the light. Like, there's never been an event that we've done so many events together. Mm-hmm. And, like, I would never want to do an event without you, because you have your gift. You do something to people. You have this thing where you can be in the position of a power, right, speaking, but you'll go right at people's level. Like, you'll get on the floor. Like, I'll never forget the last event where we did, well, not the last event, the second to last event, where you took off your shoes and you just got in the trenches with everyone, and you were able to make that connection with people. Not everybody can do that. And that's very powerful. And the teacher just said we got 3 minutes.
And I got some questions to ask.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
So I have a question.
Okay.
What was the breakthrough moment that made you just go all in with your business, perhaps with life?
Can I say?
I was going to say start with her.
Go, Saudi.
I was 100 pounds overweight. I was about to lose my home because of all the things that I thought I needed to have to be a good woman. And so, really quick, I'll get through this. When I moved to Florida and I got married, I thought I needed a big estate home. I thought I needed an elaborate car. And I took my husband's salary that could have given us everything we needed, and I went through it like if it was, like you gave a girl from the hood a ticket out of the hood, and it got me into the biggest hole. It got my family into a very fucked up financial situation, and it wasn't until I was so deep into the hole where we were already in full foreclosure that I was blessed with the opportunity to change my life, lose weight, and build a business. And I met this amazing sisterhood and community that has given me a higher power now, because now it becomes, I work from a place of, like, I've reached crazy, incredible things with the business that we're a part of, but now it's so much bigger. Like, you see these women, like, our dream is to, like, take this further than I ever could. And, like, I feel like I'm here today on this round table, and I'm already, like, the things that are going through my head and the things that I'm envisioning for them is bigger than what I ever wanted for myself. And so that's why, when you asked me that question, like, I had to see myself with my back against the wall to realize that I needed to do something.
And change.
Melissa,
how did you face rejection at the time when you were beginning, trying to find yourself while helping others?
Honestly, I would pick up the phone and message Sally, and she would basically give me something to listen to. And if you guys are wondering what's something to listen to, it was a whole bunch of somethings. It was podcasts, it was self-growth, and nothing to do with business. This was not a business for me. What was the first thing I said to you when it was, I basically needed to learn how to love me, because I was that person who didn't comprehend when you hop in an airplane and they say strap yourself first. What the hell's wrong with this person? Like, how am I gonna leave my kid?
But in the process of helping yourself, you were also helping others along the way,
yes.
Right?
Yes.
How did you balance that? Because you were working on yourself at the same time that you were working on others, on helping others.
Truthfully, the first month I wasn't, and that's probably why I had a breakthrough.
That's the time.
And that's probably why I had a real weight loss transformation.
You committed to your family first.
It took me a first 20-something pounds down that people started asking, what is it that you're doing? And then I focused on both. I literally took time, and I loved it.
Would you say that the same tools that were helping you were shared with somebody else at the same time?
Absolutely.
So, like, if you heard a book or the book that Sally recommended, would you also recommend that book?
Absolutely, 100%.
Was it The Compound Effect?
It was a compound effect, and we did what is her name? We went to Boston to see.
Danny
Johnson.
Johnson. 6 figures in 6 months. So write them down. Six figures in 6 months, and the compound
That
effect.
one did it for me.
But that was,
But
it
it's
was
also
more than a business
attending
for me.
an event
And
as a
that-
as a group.
Yes.
That shifted
That
for me.
that was
That
hard
was
for me, by
powerful.
the way.
Really?
To be in a group, yeah. I've never remember. I didn't
Yeah,
have
never
girlfriends. I didn't go to high school, so I wasn't part of anything. So to know that I was gonna sleep in a room with you guys, I was like, this is just gonna be awesome. And
That's
then to realize that it was okay, that I made it through.
We
And
didn't
that,
kill you.
you know, yeah, we didn't kill each other.
Interesting.
And
Yeah,
a
it
lot
was
of people
everything.
probably feel that way.
But I think, and I think that's a big piece where, and I think we can get started to end here. But when you come into a community like this, you're gonna be pushed outside of your comfort zone.
Oh yeah.
And it's okay to do it while you're uncomfortable. It's okay to do things while you're afraid. Like, we'll do live events, we'll invite people to come and do and go to this or that. Like, that was a retreat we went
Yes,
to for
yes.
3 days, and we drove.
That was the
It was
best.
like
Mhm.
a road trip.
It was a very
with
powerful,
strangers.
yeah.
And I remember.
And it was the first time leaving our families
Yeah.
and like
That
just
was
leaving
just-
to like do
I
us.
remember thinking when I was like the fourth person that had to share, I'm gonna make some shit up because there's no way I'm telling these people the truth. And by the time it came to me, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
Like, my
That's
problem is
nothing.
no
Yeah.
longer a problem. Like, it's not so
Yes.
big of a deal. So I think that the most powerful thing that we can bring out and name is that together we are stronger.
Mm-hmm.
That in our story, in our being, relies our power. It doesn't
Absolutely.
come from borrowing it from anybody else. And we are able to step into our confidence by being true to who we are and who we are meant to be, even when we haven't fully discovered what that is.
exactly.
Deep. Deep.
You're still
I
trying,
think
you're
that's-
still trying to make me cry. Not gonna happen.
I think that pretty much wraps it up.
It wraps it
I think-
up. And guys, so if you have any further questions, feel free to drop them below. Share this video. We're going to update the caption with the hashtag. We would love to have you on next week. And don't forget, we love that you supported us. We appreciate you all. And we're here to share the sisterhood with you guys so that you guys can take this even further. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
thank you, Marielis, and thank you, Marielis, and thank you, Sandra, for taking the time and being brave to ask your questions.
We love questions.
We love your questions, and if you have topics that you would like for us to bring on, bring them on. We're here to serve.
Be blessed.
Bye.
Bye.